Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hey.
This is Techie Gaming. I actually, before we even get into it, this is part of the show, though. We talked before, so I have to clarify it's part of the show. I feel like I should change it to Techie Games.
Okay.
Someone said, gaming sounds like gambling. And I was like, oh, shit.
Techie gambling.
Yeah, it kind of does. It sounds like some, what do they call that? Kings, like there's a DraftKings.
Oh,
or like,
okay.
you know what I mean? Or like horse racing, or you know what I mean?
Maybe we should get into some of that.
Oh, we do.
I mean, technically that's gaming, right?
We could be the premier horse racing
gambling
podcast.
website.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? We probably couldn't be.
Yeah, I'm sure there's
probably,
actually,
like 50.
and I'm sure they're huge. Actually,
And they're probably great.
yeah. I bet they are great.
No, that works. Techie Games. I'm down.
Yeah. So I'm probably gonna swap it around, and honestly, I think I'm gonna try and register a domain soon. So
Okay.
because for a lot of reasons, we'll talk about that off the air. But
Well, first of all, let's introduce ourselves. I'm Leo.
hi, Leo. How you doing?
Pretty good. This is Tony.
I'm Tony.
Tony's the mastermind behind this whole operation. He's nice enough to bring me along.
I prefer the CEO.
I prefer mastermind.
Okay.
Since I introduced you, I get to choose.
Okay. You're the chief.
Just chief.
Chief information officer,
Okay, I guess that works. That's fine. Sure.
and Bill is the face.
Face. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's just like the A-team.
He's like the receptionist.
Yeah, I'm the Hannibal. You're the.
I don't know the A-team.
You don't know the A-team?
I mean, I know of them, but
Okay, that's a bad. I won't use that one.
I'm sure I'm the best one.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Before we get too far, Leah, do you know who Randy Pitchford is?
Dude, the name rings a bell. I believe he's the CTO or the CIO of
I think
Gearbox.
he's the CEO. But,
CEO. Okay.
So this happened. I was actually upset because I saw this start trickling out like last Friday, like right after our show released.
Oh no.
And I was just like, oh, why didn't we get to talk about this? That guy is fucking crazy, like in general.
So I heard some rumblings, but maybe you could tell me what exactly happened. I kind of missed that one.
So even prior to all this, there's a rich history of Randy Pitchford.
Yeah, I think
being
that's
crazy.
why I've heard his name. Cause
He's a magician, for one.
Oh, he actually is?
Yeah, and there was some like this. Like honestly, I was just gonna mention it real fast, but the more I think about it, the more I'm just like, I could talk about this for an hour. So he got sued last year and is in like ongoing litigation, I believe, for like embezzling money from the company, and like he's the one that had the flash drive that had they said had child pornography on it,
What?
but not like child porn, but like teenage
Like
porn,
right on
like
the
cam. It was like a cam girl.
It was creepy.
It was creepy. I mean, I honestly, if it was a 17 or 18 pay
Yeah.
for a cam girl porn, honestly, I'm not going to be like, oh, you're a pedophile. Like that's
Yeah.
a very different thing. But with like cam girl porn on it and like company documents on the same flash drive, and he left it at a medieval
That could've
times is the allegation. That's real. That's a real allegation.
Yeah.
Didn't really. I don't know if that really happened or
That
not.
does
That's
sound insane.
neither here nor there.
Now, hold on. Just before we go further, is he the CEO and the founder? Did he create the company, or is he just a CEO?
I honestly don't know his C title. I know that he is in charge at Gearbox.
But did he found it?
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe he's been there the whole time.
Okay.
From what I glean, but I do not know the history of Gearbox. Honestly, I don't even really like Borderlands.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, it's not our favorite game.
it's good.
Yeah,
Borderlands. I had a
it's
good time with
totally
Borderlands
fine,
1. Yeah,
but-
don't get me wrong. I understand there's an audience for it and that people like it. And I think that's great. But so during his announcement for
Yeah.
Borderlands that they had last week, he got on stage proudly and it told the world
The big stage.
Borderlands will have no microtransactions. That's a bold statement, right?
It is, and honestly, it seems far-fetched for a game that's an online loot shooter, which
Yeah.
it is, correct. It's
Seems-
not going to, like, that's absurd.
Seemed wild, right?
That's like, yeah.
So then Game Informer publishes an article saying Borderlands does have microtransactions.
Just to clarify, what you said is not accurate.
Yeah, and I'm going to paraphrase here. So factually, the words I'm saying are not what was tweeted. I'm going to preface this ahead of time. Don't quote me. Don't say I said this
Don't
is what
quote
Randy
you
Pitchford
quoting.
said. I just am too lazy to pull up the tweets, and they're up. So
I'd rather hear your version of it anyway.
feel free to take a look. So Randy starts tweeting at Gearbox.
Randy.
Like I can't literally like I can't believe you guys did this to me
At Game Informer?
at Game Informer.
Okay.
Like and claiming he was somehow misrepresented,
Or
right?
like he's being libeled.
And like he's a victim of this.
Poor guy.
The game does have microtransactions. They're all cosmetics.
Yeah.
So I think what he was saying was there won't be like loot boxes.
There won't be pay to play or loot boxes.
Yeah, but loot boxes aren't the only microtransaction,
No.
Randy. Like that's not how that word means.
Anything you can buy in a game is a microtransaction.
Yeah, like horse armor, right?
Sure.
And that
Or
was
like legitimately cool stuff too.
Yeah. We've all learned to accept microtransactions in games.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. But you used the wrong words. And you used them in a way that implied that you knew what you were talking. Like, you know,
Which you'd think he would.
and he does, right? He knows what he's saying.
Yeah.
Maybe he misspoke. That's a very generous, I think, version of it. But even if he did, coming at people like, I can't believe you're treating...
Can't believe you said a fact.
So, this story continues,
Oh,
okay?
boy.
So he gets real heated, right? And I'm just going to add this on. I'm not even getting into the specifics of this. So there's a former employee at Gearbox who played Claptrap.
Oh, okay.
He's a
The voice actor.
So a lot of like, this is also slimy, right? A lot of voice actors for the Borderlands game have just been Gearbox employees,
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
right? And so they're not getting paid scale. They're non-union,
Yeah.
which people were not happy about. And while he was losing his mind, the voice actor of Claptrap kind of made some statements about, you know,
And the voice actor was an employee?
he previously.
Gotcha. Okay. Just
Right.
trying to keep it all straight. This crazy soap opera.
And so he kind of, and even when the whole lawsuit thing was coming down, he kind of made some snarky comments about Randy Pitchford, you know, not saying that he was guilty, but not saying that he, kind of implying that he was.
Yeah.
And so he kind of made a statement, like, you know, people got mad about him not being Claptrap this time, which also came out of that event. And, you know, he basically said, like, he wanted to be Claptrap again, even though he didn't work there. But, you know, they didn't really want to pay him the appropriate amount of money for that work.
Right.
And
Yeah, that's a lot of work, keep in mind. That's
it's a lot of work.
That's not like a one-off line like in Oblivion. That's a huge character.
And he also claimed that he had been assaulted by Randy Pitchford in the past. in the
medieval
lobby
times?
in the lobby of a Marriott or something in 2017.
I mean, we shouldn't laugh about assault, but
yeah, it wasn't.
the story is
It's
insanity.
crazy. And you know, Randy Pitchford obviously is like, you're crazy too. Everybody's crazy. Everybody's crazy but me.
Especially Game Informer.
But the thing I found the funniest part, because I don't think being assaulted or underpaid is funny.
Right, agreed.
The funniest part is like one of the complaints leveraged at Randy Pitchford and how they treat their employees at Gearbox is that because he's a magician, he refers to employees as muggles.
No.
Yeah.
Could you imagine how that would be so annoying the first time? The 50th, 60th, 70th time, it's incredible he hasn't been assaulted himself.
Yeah, it's incredibly. He probably has.
Listen here, muggles.
Yeah.
You want to know how much money I made?
Yeah.
I'm going to make your 401ks disappear.
Yeah. Then he did. Magically.
Wow. What a character.
I know.
He sounds like an asshole.
He does.
Now, again, we should say a lot of this is
alleged. It's all
So
alleged.
that's why I said he sounds like an asshole, not like he is.
He is an asshole.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
I mean, I think that part is not alleged. I read those tweets. Those were real. He is, in fact, an asshole. Randy Pitchford,
Full stop.
If you're one of the 7 people that download this podcast, you are an asshole. Like,
Dude, you better watch out.
you should accept that and stop being an asshole.
Or just go with it.
Or just
And
go
don't
with-
pretend you're a victim.
Yeah, it's fine if you want to just go with it. But my suggestion is when you learn you're an asshole, you should at least be kind of proactive and be like, maybe I shouldn't be an asshole.
Have you tried not being a dick?
Yeah, have a moment there. I've been known to be kind of an asshole sometimes.
I'll say.
And I try to at least be aware of my assholeness
Yeah.
and not be such an asshole all the time. Because I do think
And also, you're not the CEO of a giant AAA video game company yet.
I'm the CEO
Yes, I
of
know.
a giant
Mega conglomerate.
entertainment corporation.
True, but
okay?
that's a little different, is what I'm saying.
It's a little different.
If you ever assault me in the lobby of a Marriott, I'll know we're really on the right track.
Yeah, we're finally.
Please assault me in a hotel.
If you stop being a fucking muggle, maybe I will.
And we can get some work
Maybe we
done.
get some work done. So I just wanted to.
No, that's fascinating.
I
man.
wanted to touch on it because I found that so fascinating.
That is fascinating. He's a character. I was thinking about how the whole industry is filled with some characters.
Well, you know, it's an old industry.
It's not.
Well, no.
It's like one of the newest industries.
Well, it's kind of old now.
It's getting, yeah. I mean, it's been around decades.
It's been around decades. And, you know, a lot of these companies have existed since the 70s, some of them, the 80s, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of the people still in these positions were 20-year-olds in the 80s and 90s.
Especially the ones at the top now.
40 and 50-year-olds now. And they've never had to, they don't know how to run a business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
in a traditional sense.
in a traditional sense.
And I think that can go in the good direction too. Like you always hear about, like, you know, the guys who made Dead Cells, and that's a very odd kind of strange business model, but it seems to be working great for them personally. It's not to say it worked for everyone, but like that's a great example of, we don't know how to run a business, let's do some crazy shit, and it worked out.
Yeah, and I honestly, I think those experiments are the interesting part, right? Like, absolutely. I think those are what's fun about it. I think the part that's scary about it is a lot of these are people that, you know, come from an era where being abusive and mistreating people was very much a norm and very much acceptable.
And almost like, it was almost a right, they feel.
Yeah, and
then you pair that with almost infinite money.
And they've never grown out of it. You know what I mean?
That could be dangerous.
Yeah, they've never grown out of it. And I think that is dangerous. And I think we're seeing a lot of that come to the surface right now.
That's how you end up with, like, dick-slapping ball tappers running riot, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's how you end up with dick-slapping ball tappers running riot. That story is, I mean, I don't want to get back into it because we talked about it so much last week.
Yeah, we talked a lot about it. If you do want to hear our sort of breakdown, I think, you know, the walkout happened, not a whole lot as far as I know, unless you have some insight.
The walkout did happen. I don't think that Tiger's going to change its stripes.
Yeah, probably not.
You know, like, I will say, even from talking to people that are former and past rioters, it seems very divisive.
Yeah.
There. You know what I mean?
It's like a microcosm of America.
It is like a microcosm of American. I think that there's a lot of rhetoric being thrown around at Riot right now.
Yeah.
Both that their bosses are the worst, and that the employees are the worst, or that there's a bunch of SJWs,
right.
or that there's
entitled millennials.
Yeah, a bunch of entitled millennials. There are a lot of those in the world, I'll tell you that.
Sure.
But or you know, or that this company like there's, how do I want to say this? That they have to change.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't know if they have to. I think they probably should. Right?
Yeah, I think it would be in their best interest to do
I think it would be in their best interest
but you're right,
as well.
No, they don't have to.
But you know, I think there's an idea that, like, this is what I want this company to be, so it has to be this. And that's sadly not the reality. And I think some people are going to learn that soon. And I hope that I hope it all works out for the best for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should check back in with the story after, you know, there's been some more developments. Even if we don't hear anything else, that'd be interesting to talk about later too.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Like, even if, whatever happened with that? I'm sure yeah.
Yeah, I think putting a pin in it.
Yeah.
And even if nothing happens, I think that's what's interesting. I do think what we will see, and I think what came out of the walkout was, and what I really appreciate about what they're doing is they've set hard dates and they've set hard wants for the results they expect.
Yeah, and that are relatively attainable. They're not completely absurd.
Yeah, that are relatively attainable. And I think by doing that, you know, I honestly get bothered when you have these kind of aimless kind of moments of protest, or like these kind of, you know, like, oh, we just want happiness, or we want equality and fairness. It's like, you need to create a path to that has goals and milestones that you want. And I think by doing that, they've at least created a manageable expectation. Yeah. Right.
No, I think so. I think that is the good side of this, and it'll be curious to see. What I really want to know is, what does Randy Pitchford think about all this? Let's get him on the show.
I would love to have a beer with Randy Pitchford.
If he was just in our third chair here.
Shitty takes on what is going on around.
Well, let me tell you, as a CEO,
the worst takes I bet he has about what's going on there. It's like, that's what happens when you hire a bunch of muggles, right?
They don't know how the magic works. Yeah. We don't know that this is what he sounds like, but that's what we're imagining.
The best, they got some fucking mudbloods, like that Weasley family.
It's like, dude, we're not talking about Harry. Why do you always make it about Harry Potter, Ron?
I'd sort all those assholes into Hufflepuff if it was me.
Then fire them all. Like I said, no microtransactions.
Yeah. But I do think I think the riot, that whole situation, I think people that acted out it are, for better or worse, doing what they think is right and being informed and trying to have positive change in that. Yeah. I think that's a great thing.
Absolutely. I don't see how it could make anything worse in terms of like the industry. It could make their lives worse or, certain people's circumstances worse. But I think as a whole, the fact we're having this conversation is not a bad thing.
Yeah, there's definitely a personal danger to it.
Which is why it is admirable.
Which is why it's admirable. And I think regardless if you agree about, what your feelings are on arbitration or if the company should be forced to kind of make their, dirty laundry public, which this is really all about.
Yeah.
Regardless of how you feel about those things, I think you have to admit that it takes courage to do those things.
Yep.
And the only way that, we get to be better or have better businesses and better employees is to be educated and to demand what you expect.
Yeah. And for everyone out there, best of luck.
Yeah.
Hope it all works out for you guys.
So that was our intro. We haven't even gotten into the episode yet.
I mean, I think this counts as the episode.
Nope, doesn't count.
All right, delete it.
As the CEO.
Oh, he's making an executive decision.
Yeah. As the CEO, I'll tell you this doesn't count. It only counts once I say, Leo, what have you been playing this week?
Oh, okay. So I know we discussed last week, I think it was last week, how I wanted to try Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, yeah, we discussed it.
Oh, I've tried it.
Oh, have you?
And let me tell you, friend, I've gotten pretty hooked.
What race are you?
I forget.
Are you a human?
No, I think they're like cat people.
Oh, yeah. Khajiit no Steel.
Maybe. So this actually kind of gets to the point of I really like the game a lot, and we can talk a little bit about why. But I will say this. Do not care for the lore.
The lore's very...
to the point where it's like it's not even that the writing's bad. Like when I do slow down and actually read it, it's not like poorly translated or anything like... with all due respect, it's a huge world. I'm not trying to say they did a poor job creating this, interesting world. But I will say just the sheer amount of text and names and characters and people that show up, I stopped trying to keep it straight almost within like an hour.
Yeah, there's no one. Later in the story, you see some people you sort of recognize.
Yeah, like there's the dude with the white hair who keeps showing up.
Yeah.
That's it, though.
And even from like the world of Final Fantasy, there's a couple of...
Yeah, of course,
like,
and that's all fun.
Touches, right?
Yeah.
And there's one, like, I think the final storyline, you really talk to somebody that's kind of a person you'll recognize from Final Fantasies.
Yeah.
You probably already know who that is because there's only one person that's in all the Final Fantasies.
I don't know, but I'm sure I could probably figure it out.
If I'd give you 3 guesses, you'd probably get it.
Is it a 3-letter name?
Yeah, it's a 3-letter name.
Okay.
But,
I think I figured it out. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
But other than that, other than like the lore overload, which part of that maybe is just how MMOs are. I should also say I'm not that familiar with MMOs. It's kind of my first real big experience with them. I played a lot of ESO, but I think that's kind of a sort of half MMO sort of outlier.
It's almost more like it's kind of got more of like a Destiny feeling to it. You know what I mean?
It's cool. I like it for what it is, but this feels very much traditional.
Yeah, it definitely.
Almost to a fault. But as someone who hasn't like got my beak wet with a million RPGs or MMOs the way some people have, it's really fun. The loop's fun. The combat's not great, but it's weirdly satisfying. Yeah, I don't even know why. It's all about
strangely good.
It's like all about timing button presses. Really, is all it is. But for some reason, it works.
Yeah.
The AOE getting out of there is simple, but it's fun. And again, I'm only level I think 22, 23, so I'm not like at the end game by any means. And I'm doing exactly what you said. And this is great advice for anyone who wants to embark on this journey with me. Just doing story, like bopping around from story mission to story mission. Occasionally, if I want to, I'll like run around just to see what's out there. But really, I'm just trying to get to the end game, and then I figure I can start exploring after that.
Yeah, and you'll hit a lot of spots where they're like, oh, this is how you, like in the main story quest, they'll kind of weave in like, oh, this is how you add materia to your armor, and you're like, oh, I can't even do this yet. So, so just stick to the main story.
Yeah.
Like don't go back and try and level other classes to do other things.
No, that's kind of what I figured. I can do all that after.
Yeah.
The few things I really like, I just unlocked glamours and dye, which I love that kind of stuff. So that's been fun. I made my character all dialed in. She looks dope as hell. I finally got the airship so I can fly all around. It's like a little more open now. In the beginning, you're all in that desert town.
Yeah.
I do really like, and we talked a little bit about this already, the way it looks. Not because it's new. It's not new. It's not the cutting edge anymore. It looks fine. But there's something about that MMO look.
It's strangely
compelling. It's like flat and almost like featureless, but for some reason it looks like very satisfying visually.
That game specifically is strangely appealing.
And I don't know. I really can't put my finger on it.
I don't know why either. I like it so much, and I don't understand what draws me to the visuals of that game.
Yeah,
Because it feels so dated. But
it does in some ways.
I like the layout of the world. I think a big thing for me, and I think the flatness helps the characters feel less dated than they probably should, right? If they're going for a more realistic look, a more
they're they're pretty on the cartoony side,
right? But the
not like to the WoW level, but
the flat cartooniness helps them stay not good looking but relevant. But the way they build the environments, I really like. There's a lot of Z movement, right? There's a lot of like
a sense of scale.
Caves going down. There's a lot of scale.
You're right.
There's a lot of castles
up
in the
and
distance,
down,
and like
verticality.
Like what's that Camp Dry Bones, or the one that's down in the?
I don't know if I've even been.
You've been there. I know you have, but it's like there's a graveyard on top, and there's like.
See, here's the thing. I've been so focused on the story that I've barely seen anything because I've just been zipping around.
Yeah, but. It's cool. I think there's a good sense of scale. There's an interesting look to everything.
Everything's very shiny.
Yeah, everything's very shiny.
Which is kind of cool. It's very Japanese, but in a sort of... I don't know. It's like you just said. It's really kind of hard to put my finger on it. But I really enjoy looking at it. And the music's incredible.
Music's great.
Now, I'm sure it'll get old after...
I turned it off.
Yeah, eventually anything gets old. But the music's awesome. I still don't understand the loot system at all. I don't get it at all. When you're in instances and it drops and there's like 3 options. There's like greed and I don't get it.
Need, greed, pass.
Yeah, what the hell?
That's a traditional MMO thing.
Yeah, so this is why it's been. This is kind of one that I wanted to pick your brain about. And we don't have to talk to it for too long, just in case other people don't care about MMOs. So basically,
there's 2 tiers. So you're gonna roll on gear, right? I know you don't see the roll,
right?
In old games, you would actually see a number you'd roll. Like if a gear dropped, you'd roll, and whoever got the highest would get the gear, right? So what kind of evolved out of that is there's a need roll, a greed roll, and passes no roll, right? So if anyone rolls need, then that person gets the gear.
So is that like if this is like a 3-sided dice?
No.
Or each one's individual?
They're individuals.
Okay.
Right? So if one person rolls need and the other 4 roll greed, the need gets the gear no matter what. If 2 people roll need and everyone else rolls greed, those 2 will roll off for the gear. If everyone rolls greed, then the greeds will roll off for the gear.
Okay.
Right? It's supposed to be so that tiered, right? It's supposed to be that this gear is for my class. I don't have gear that's as good as this gear. I'm going to need roll for it because I need this. But you
do get to choose between need and greed.
Yes.
Oh, I get it. So it's really up to you. Like,
so it's up to you.
I'd like to have this, but it's not like I haven't been looking for it.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to need roll everything, you can.
But yeah,
it's fine. You know what I mean?
Okay,
like,
interesting.
No one's gonna like lose their shit that you need roll on everything.
Even know?
They'd see you get every drop and be like, "This guy took everything."
Okay,
but in general, they don't care because if they cared, they just rolled need against you, right?
No, that makes sense. Thank you for explaining that. That makes perfect sense.
So greed is like, it might be cool to have this for glamours or something. I don't really care.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
and
cool.
pass
that's perfect.
Pass is like I have this shit, or I just don't want any more stuff in my bag.
So what happens if it drops like the thing you've been waiting for?
You got to roll need.
But then if you lose it, that sucks. I guess you in theory you could message the person and be like, dude, I've been trying to get this for 100 years. Here's $1 million gold or something. My
suggestion, and this isn't going to happen that early in the game.
No, yeah, I'm very early.
But if you were realistically farming a dungeon at endgame, and I've played Final Fantasy that much, I don't know what dungeon farming endgame of Final Fantasy looks like. But I would enter a dungeon and tell the party, like immediately, like, hey, I'm running it for this.
You can have everything else.
Yeah, I don't need anything else. Maybe someone's going to be like, hey, I'm looking for that too. And at that point, you can be like, okay, we'll roll if it drops.
Yeah, fair enough.
Or you can say, like, I'm going to find another group.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea.
Right? Because that happens a lot in WoW, right? Where you'd run a dungeon and be like, hey, like, I'm looking for this. Because honestly, if it's like a crazy item, everyone's looking for it.
Yeah,
right?
Of course.
Like, but if you're specifically, it's just something specifically to your class that you're like, this is the one I'm looking for, then it's okay. And, you know, in a lot of games like WoW, it'll actually, it'll base it on your class, right? So if it's class specific, other people can't even beat you on it.
Okay, that makes sense.
So you can't have people just need rolling stuff that they aren't ever going to use.
Why don't they just generate individual loot for each person? I don't understand. That seems so much better. Like you just see what is there that only you can get it.
Because it would devalue the loot too much. I mean, I understand what you're saying.
There's got to be a way they could adjust for that.
Well, there's an economy to that game, though. That's the thing.
Oh, yeah.
When
See, this is why I don't play MMOs. All of that is like not what I'm interested in.
Yeah, when you get into games that have markets, it's too exploitable to do
that's
that,
fair.
Right?
That makes sense.
Like, I mean, I used to multi-bot, like, WoW.
Really?
Yeah. So I'd have literally 5 characters running on basically like a KVM where they're all controlled by one keyboard.
Wow.
Yeah. So you can
That's
basically
so
like
crazy.
Yeah. So you can stack drops or level multiple characters at once. Or,
Is there a way they can ban you for that?
They could. I mean, you're not supposed to, but if you buy all the accounts, they're not gonna.
So is it like a remote desktop kind of thing?
No. You just run. Well, you can do multiple PCs with the same hardware controlling all those PCs.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I've never thought about that.
Yeah. Usually people do it for like 2, right? Because like if it's 2, like some people do like 5 because they're like power leveling 5 characters or whatever. But if it's 2, I mean, you can really set that up so it's like 2 mages, and so you just shoot double fireballs.
Yeah.
Right. And you're just clearing stuff super fast. Or like there's a lot of ways to use multi-boxing, and if 5 items dropped every time, then you could just multi-box dungeons and just like...
Yeah, and you're all of a sudden getting rich as hell.
Yeah, you're getting everything super fast.
That makes sense.
But I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yeah, real quick, how many hours did you play? Do you know, roughly? Do you have a sense?
I have no idea.
So does that mean like 40 or like 10,000 or like...
I haven't played that much
500
Final Fantasy 14. So
but what does that mean?
Maybe like 40 or 50 hours.
Oh, okay. So
not
like
a lot.
Totally normal amount of time.
Like a totally normal amount of time.
Not that there's anything wrong with playing more. I just was curious.
I'm almost 50, which is like the beginning of the main story quest.
Okay.
Or the end of the main story quest. I hear the quests get much better.
In Heaven's Word?
Heaven's
Word?
I thought it was Heaven's Sword.
Yeah, I think it's...
For the longest time. Like, they just gave it away for free.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I realized it's Heaven's Ward. Like...
Heaven's Word. Like, he cast his eyes Heaven's Word.
No. Well, I guess you could
I think that's what it is.
I thought it was
it's not 2 words.
I thought it was like Ward. Like,
because that would have to have a...
Oh, it feels like a ward of
heaven. That would have to have an apostrophe.
Like the child of heaven.
But it's just one word.
Like he was under the protection of
heaven.
No,
I get what you're saying, but it's not grammatically
like ward.
All right. Anyway, I'll keep you posted about it, everyone, and we don't have to talk about it as much next time. But yeah, it's cool. It seems like a very traditional MMO. It looks cool. Music's
That's what
great.
I like about it.
I don't know how much I'll play. I have a month to play it for free. I might give it another month. Maybe not. We'll see. But yeah, it's fun.
Give it another month.
Huh?
Give it another month.
Yeah, I probably will.
That was like a little. Give it another month.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I get burned out, then
I just don't have. I mean, I just don't have anything else to really play right now. Like, I will say this. I guess you want to ask me what
I was about to say. Before you get into it, what I'd really like to know, and what do people want to know, Tony, what have you been up to? What have you been playing?
I'm so glad you asked.
Of course.
I haven't had much time to play games this week.
Oh, really? You've been busy?
Yeah, I've been really busy.
What you've been doing?
Building
your empire.
Building my empire.
Working.
Social media. I've actually been reading a lot.
What a nerd.
Yeah, comics nerd. Not even like American comics and not even Japanese comics. I've been reading this Korean comic.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know you read Korean.
It's in English.
Yeah.
It's called Tower of God. It's really good. It's really good.
Well, if this was a comics podcast, I'd ask you what it's about. But since it's not, I'm not going to.
It's about this boy named Bam. And he was born alone. Well, we don't even know his backstory, really. But he met this girl, the only person he ever saw. And she was like his only friend. But she dreamed of going to the tower to find her dreams. The tower is this mythical place. And if you make it to the top, all of your dreams will come true. And her dream was to see the stars because she'd never seen the sky.
That's pretty.
Yeah. And so she left him. And he was very sad. And he went into the tower himself. And if you're non-chosen and you enter the tower, you're considered an irregular to the tower. People don't open the door and walk in. People are drawn in based on their desires, right? And so he was an irregular of the tower. And irregulars are crazy, superpowered people. But he wasn't. He was just a normal guy. And it's his story of...
Actually sounds really cool.
It's really good.
It also sounds like a video game.
Yeah, it's super...
Like the arc.
The characters are great.
Yeah.
I will say this. Like, especially like Korean comics, like they're called manhwas. They're usually... okay. Like I've read a few of them. I've read a lot more Japanese and American comics, but the characters aren't usually written that well, in my opinion. They're usually more about like martial arts and stuff. And this one, I mean, I just really like the character writing. It's so good. They're so sympathetic, and the main character, like, he's so like, just even from the get go, like the whole thing is that like he's not powerful, and he ends up being powerful. Like, of course, he's the main character, but people are just so drawn to his like his drive and his like genuineness. You know what I mean? Because they're all like kind of stepping over each other to kind of achieve this thing, and he is so singularly driven in finding his friend and doing what needs to be done. And it's interesting. It's very good. It's really good. But aside from that, I played a lot of Division 2 over the weekend.
So did I. I'm still trying to get to World Tier 3.
I'm kind of done right now.
I'm actually starting to feel that way too. Like I'm still enjoying it. I want to get to the Tidal Basin, but it's hard now. But it's starting to feel a little repetitive.
Even Tidal Basin's a little more of the same.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping the raid is more interesting. I'll be honest. Last weekend, I ended up farming one mission.
Which mission?
Jefferson Center.
Oh, okay.
All weekend, and that was not a good idea because it made me not want to play the game.
I was about to say, if there's one way to kill a game for yourself, play the same mission over and over for an entire weekend.
Well, like, so the point I'm at where it's like, I got too much gear.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll just look for like a lot of these builds depend on like legendaries. Mm-hmm. There's like this legendary explosive sniper rifle. And I'm like, I want that. That sounds dope, right?
Dope as hell.
So you can do like a demolitionist build, all explosive damage. The sniper rifle like implants explosives.
Yeah, it sounds badass.
Sounds badass. But the sniper rifle is a random drop from a specific kind of enemy. It's the enemy that's in Jefferson Center. That's the fastest mission with those enemies.
Oh, I see.
So it's like that's the best place to get the drop. And I must have ran the thing like 50 times.
Yeah, that sucks.
No drop. But I got a legendary shotgun for some reason randomly on on a different mission running it once.
That's funny.
I know. But so that was just kind of like I don't really feel like doing this with this. Like I'm just gonna wait for the raid.
When is that?
Who knows?
Really? Okay.
It's not supposed to be far out, I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not that up to date on kind of the drops for Division. Because I know Tidal Basin was a few weeks ago, so I assume it's coming the next few weeks.
Yeah.
But I really don't know. But, I'll probably touch back in when the raid drops. If the raid seems cool. If people are enjoying the raid, I'll probably come back in and do that. But,
yeah, I mean, that's what I do like about these games as a service. It does feel very like, I'm done with this, but in 3 months, I'll probably pop back in and see how, and it'll be fun. It'll be like, oh yeah, I forgot. I like this game. My character looks hilarious or cool. Totally forgot. Like, I like that concept of it's always kind of back there.
It's funny. That's what makes them so different from MMOs.
Yeah.
Right? Like, MMOs are far more... I think people expected games as a service to be like MMOs, and I think that's where a lot of the disappointment came from. Like, Destiny was... I really love Destiny, but I was disappointed it wasn't like an MMO because the content was slim to, for what you were doing. It was impossible to just like... People do it, but like hanging out in Destiny wasn't really rewarding.
Yeah.
Where in MMOs, like MMOs are games you want to like log in every night, say hi to your guildmates and your friends, see what's going down, and
it's more like an actual social space.
A social space, and kind of earn some new stuff while you're there, right? Where these games of service are far more like, no, you're done. Yeah. You're done with it. We'll give you something to do next week or in a couple weeks, or like.
Yeah. No, for sure.
And
both of those are kind of attractive in different ways. Like, there's nothing wrong with either. But you're right. I think that is an important differentiation.
Yeah, and I think, I think once you understand that and once you realize that's what's going on, it's a lot easier to kind of understand what they're doing with games like The Division.
I mean, there's still a lot of content, or it will be.
It will be, I hope,
So I think it's like, it's not like it's skimping out.
Yeah. So I've been playing that, but this week specifically, I've had a lot of time to play games. I tried God, what was it called? There was a game in open beta, and it's like a Portal-based team shooter.
Oh, interesting.
Like, it's kind of like a team deathmatch kind of Portal-style game where you shoot portals and you have a gun. and you can use the portal to like peek corners and like
that sounds interesting.
jump out in places. It's an interesting idea. The gunplay is really bad.
Yeah,
it's called like something shot. I don't know why I can't. It honestly had that much of an impact on me.
Yeah, clearly. Something shots with guns that aren't good.
But yeah, other than that, I haven't really been playing too much.
Yeah.
But what I did want to get into was I got some notes here.
Oh, hot off the press.
Hot
Ding,
off
ding,
the press.
ding, ding.
Just a few short hours ago,
Oh.
Sony had its latest state of play.
Oh, that's right. Good
Mhm.
memory.
And I just watched it.
Yeah.
Leah, did you watch it?
I unfortunately did not. I was
know
quite
you
busy.
didn't. I asked you earlier.
Oh, I see. So this was all a big setup.
It was a ruse.
It was a. I see. Well, aren't I the fool?
So I'm going to go through what they talked about on the state of play.
Do you want to go through all of it, or do you want my thoughts on each one individually?
I'm going to touch each one.
Okay.
If you got something to get into, you can kind of chime in.
Okay.
Number 1. So the first thing they talked about was Monster Hunter World.
Okay.
The expansion is Iceborne.
Okay. So it's like, I assume it's ice themed.
It's ice themed. There will also be monsters coming into the old maps, and it's supposed to be. It says it's a huge expansion. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
But so yeah, it's kind of a remix. So Monster Hunter tends to do these big expansions where they just keep adding tons of monsters and kind of higher tiers. So I mean, I'm sure it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
And that should drop in September.
Awesome.
The second thing they talked about was a kind of a voxel 8-bit dungeon crawler called Riverbond.
Riverbond. That's an interesting name.
And it looked fun enough. I mean, it wasn't like, I wasn't like, wow. I think the hook was that it has a lot of characters from other games in it.
Oh, that's
so like the kid from Bastion's in it.
Oh.
Shovel Knight's in it.
Oh, I love Shovel Knight.
Juan from Guacamelee. Others.
And others.
Yeah, there was a lot. I don't remember them. I wrote down Bastion and Shovel Knight. The third game they announced, which actually seems pretty cool, is Predator Hunting Grounds.
Yeah. So was there gameplay shown?
No, it was just like a tease.
Yeah, which is cool. So I guess it's asymmetrical, kind of in the style of Friday the 13th.
I would assume so. I honestly kind of hope it's not, but we'll see.
I could see that being very cool. Like in a jungle, one person gets to be the predator. That sounds fun.
Those games are always cool, but they're never popular enough to survive.
Well, okay, but that's not a good reason to not make them. We just need one that is.
It's actually the best reason to not make them.
No, I mean, you could have said that about, you could say about any genre until there's a breakout version of it.
I mean, I think they've had good games in this genre.
Like Dead by Daylight?
Dead by Daylight is one.
That's got to be pretty popular.
What was the big one that died? You know what I'm talking about, though. You know exactly what game I'm talking about.
Unless you're talking about Friday the 13th.
No, with the 4 hunters and the monster. There's like a trapper. God, why can't I remember
Dead by Daylight.
No, it's a shooter. It's almost like this Predator game would be. It's like in the jungle.
Interesting. I know nothing of this.
I cannot believe I can't remember the name of this game right now. But
who made it?
I don't know. I just keep seeing these style of games popping up.
Yeah. No, that's true.
I just feel like the longevity is never there for them. I think it would be far more interesting to have a version of that where the monster is like Killing Floor or something where, the monster is AI controlled and you kind of co-op with the team against that monster.
Yeah.
Now I'm Googling asymmetrical shooters. But it did look cool for a teaser.
I think the concept is interesting. I mean, it is a compelling concept, and someone likes Predator.
Yeah.
He's fun. And remember, did you ever play AVP back in the day?
No. VP?
AVP.
Oh, yeah, I did play VP.
Yeah, that was good shit.
The way the radars worked in that game was terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, it was the best use of visual and audio for radars.
That game was sick, man. It was so ahead of its time, both of them.
Evolve was the game I was thinking of.
Oh, yeah, I never played Evolve, so that makes sense why I didn't know.
Yeah, but the movie is good.
Alien vs. Predator?
The first Predator.
No, the first Predator is Alien vs. Predator is not good.
Oh, no.
The first Predator is awesome.
AVP is very bad.
Yeah. The first Predator is great, though.
I thought you were saying that it was better than the Predator movies, and I'm like...
whoa.
It's not really a hot take.
Predator movies is one of my favorites.
That's a big oof.
What else was out there in Sony land?
So I know everyone's super excited that the medieval, if you want to read it the way it's not written, the way people seem to do, is coming out October 25th.
So did you play that on the PS1?
Yes.
What did you think? I never played it.
It was okay.
I was an N64 guy.
It played like an N64 game.
That's kind of always the impression I got. Like, I like the theme.
Yeah, but it's just that 3D
with collecting weird
bad platforms,
polygons.
weird polygons. Yeah, there's just that.
Do you think it needs a remake?
No.
I don't understand. Like, I consider myself pretty plugged into the 32, 64-bit era. That's kind of like my specialty. I don't remember anyone clamoring for a medieval remake. That's not to say it's going to be bad or anything, but
I had friends that were really into it. Like,
really?
I guess not really into it.
Yeah, I didn't know anyone was really into it.
I had a friend that
played
really
it
liked
once.
it. Yeah, but he played it once. But he thought it was super cool.
So this guy, he might play it again.
Yeah, his name was Andy. He was a good guy. We kind of had a falling out as adults. We were roommates, and it didn't go so great.
He was just always talking about medieval.
Yeah, it was always. I wish. I wish.
Anyway, I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. I guess whatever. I like platformers.
What else? Oh, Away. They announced it's a game where you're a flying squirrel.
Interesting. Is it like realistic looking?
Yes.
Oh, so it's like actual flying squirrel.
Yeah, and you're like battling with other animals and trying to survive. Like,
whoa. I
think it's gonna have a very like a global warming like kind of thing.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, it seems interesting. I don't know. Like it seemed like it was all in game and it looked nice. It didn't look like something I'd ever want to play.
Yeah.
But people.
Well, guess what? Not every game's made for you, Tony.
None of these seem to be. I mean, the Monster Hunter expansion. It seems like the only thing that I'm like a definite get. But it's Capcom. Capcom can't.
Yeah, they are really. The moment they screw up is gonna be sad because they've been on such a tear.
Yeah, they're just nailing. I mean, except for fighting games, they're nailing it.
Yeah,
they just can't seem to get Street Fighter right. And they announced a new PS4 Days of Play PS4.
Sounds boring.
It's like graphite, and it's a PS4.
Oh, it's an actual PS4 console.
Yeah, it's a physical console.
Is it a Pro?
Yeah, it's a Pro with the new controller, and it looks a lot like a regular PS4, but just it's not black. It's like graphite.
It's like gray black.
It's like gray, bluish black.
Huh.
And then they showed the Final Fantasy VII remake, which is probably the thing we're actually going to talk about.
Yeah,
because that actually has some teeth to it.
It does. So I don't even know where to start. First, I should say Final Fantasy VII was a very important game to me growing up. However, I do not think it's aged well, and I have not played it in a long time.
It's amazing how bad it looks when you look at it now.
And yeah, for sure. But not just that. It's like it's not the game I remember.
Did you play 15?
No.
Okay.
I'm playing a lot of 14 though. So anyway, I was like, okay, I guess you could remake it. I don't really know why, but I understand it's very important to people. This remake, not interested. It looks like the exact opposite of this theme we keep coming back to, which is you got to keep the soul of it intact. And the soul, I think, of Final Fantasy VII to me was it was very narrative focused. It was very simple.
Yeah.
And almost too simple, you could argue, but it was very straightforward. And it was very, like, solemn, and a very, like, isolation was a big theme there, I felt like.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing Cloud, like, realistic looking with his dumbass hair, like, talking in a voice, and seeing all the numbers pop up when you're like, I don't know, it almost looked like an MMO.
I'm ready to see Tifa, bro.
Yeah, did we see her in the trailer? I didn't recognize her.
That's what I'm holding out for. E3, here we go.
Oh boy.
What? What's your problem? I want to see Red 13 too. Everybody's cute.
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
Yeah, so
Kate Sith.
Take it easy. Yuffie.
Yeah, she was in it.
Yeah, I like
she
Yuffie.
Looked cool. Yeah,
she's cool.
What about Vincent?
I liked Vincent
with his pointy shoes.
Yeah, I feel like people were hard on Vincent, but I always thought he was cool.
Did you play Dirge of Cerberus?
He's a vampire. No, I didn't play Dirge.
So you didn't like him that much?
No, we weren't like super tight, but he was cool.
Yeah, I just feel like it looks like, from everything I could tell from this, and again, it's just a trailer. I wish him all the best of luck. It looks like not at all what I want from a Final Fantasy VII game. What do you think?
It looks like 15, and 15 was bad.
Yeah, it looks a lot like 15. I didn't play 15, but I guess I don't want it to look like 15. Like, why would you want a Final Fantasy game to look like a different Final Fantasy game? Their whole thing is they're all profoundly different.
They should have let Capcom do it.
Yeah, they should just let Capcom do everything.
If they just put it in the Devil May Cry format, and you were just, you know,
Well, it should
Cloud.
be it should be turn based.
Why? Just make it so you're Cloud instead of
Dante
instead of
yeah,
Nero.
Just swap out the skins.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
And then
probably a mod for that already.
Vincent instead of V. Perfect.
You don't even
right?
need to swap them out. They're basically
And
the
then
same thing.
Sid could be what's his face?
Dante.
Dante. Yeah, Sid could be Dante.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
Right?
Sounds like we solved this problem.
Yeah. Tifa could be the car lady.
She's cool.
Yeah. And then
Who would Sephiroth be?
Sephiroth would be the big demon.
Okay.
The tree demon guy, whatever his name is. I forget all their names.
Lord something.
Yeah, Lord something. That's
Lord Demon guy.
Sephiroth. Yeah, I'm very concerned with that game. Square sucks right now.
Well, also they've been they've been working on that game for 400 years.
Square has
Since
not
a PS3 tech demo.
Square has not done anything good in such a long time.
Final Fantasy 14 is pretty good.
After they remade it, after launching it,
After launching one of the most disastrous, apparently, MMO launches of
and
all
even
time.
that was, I mean, when did Realm Reborn come out? Like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, like they've made a Quiet Man since then.
Which apparently is just the worst. I never played it.
They made Kingdom Hearts, which doesn't seem very good.
That's nice. That's
Right.
a nice way to say it.
They made Final Fantasy 15,
Which you did not care for.
I did not care for. You know, I'm not sure what's going on at Square, but they have lost their fucking minds. Like,
they should hire Randy Pitchford.
they should hire Randy Pitchford.
He'll clean things up.
Make a Harry Potter game. I just can't think of a good thing they've done.
Yeah, man. I know they publish a lot of stuff, so
I can't think of a good thing they published.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm sure there's something. But you're right. As far as Final, and where the hell?
I mean, there was a bad Tomb Raider game that recently came out.
It was not bad.
I just say,
It was good.
okay.
The story was not good.
They
but-
just published it.
yeah,
Square publishes those, right?
yeah, they
Yeah.
do. So there you go. At
They
least
didn't
Tomb
make
Raider's
it.
good.
They
No,
didn't make it, but
and it wasn't that good.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like
it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I reviewed it and I liked it. It was beautiful.
I'm just worried because Square does not seem to have the
Well,
chops.
also didn't it get canceled and started over again
Oh,
twice?
yeah.
That's never.
It's
a
been
good
around
sign.
forever.
And that's what happened to Final Fantasy 15. Remember, it was
Yeah.
like Final Fantasy 13 Revenant Kingdom or something.
No, it was
It was called,
13.
like-
Not X2. It was.
Yeah, what was it called? It had the stupidest name.
It was another Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah, it was like Cocoon of
No,
God knows.
versus something. Final Fantasy 13 versus something.
It was really dumb.
It was a 13 game though.
Yeah.
At that, and it was bad. I don't know. I played through all of 15 when it first launched.
Yeah.
I was very excited. Well, I wasn't that excited. I knew it was. I had my skepticism, but it's funny because it actually starts out pretty good. It's got this cool "Stand By Me" remix. That's actually pretty good, and it's bad. Like you get halfway in, and it's like you don't think you're halfway in because it's a Final Fantasy game. You're like, oh, I should be like a quarter of the way in, but then the game just like literally jumps on a train and is like, here's where you go, here's where you go, here's where you go, here's where you go. This mission sucks. It's over.
Wow.
And you're like,
And then they added more DLC than I've ever seen a game ever add.
and there's a really it makes me sad because there's a really cool character in it. I can't remember her name, but she's like this lady knight. She's got this like cool helmet. She's one of those bad guys that isn't super bad.
Yeah,
She's like
I like
mixed
those.
bad, right?
Yeah.
And to be honest, I think that's the interesting thing about this game is the way that it kind of portrays your enemies are kind of also being kind of misled by this main villain who's clearly the villain from the very beginning and is manipulating everyone, and you're like, well, that's the bad guy.
Yeah.
But everyone seems to believe him, right? And
That's annoying.
And you're just like, okay, this sucks. But all these characters get introduced, and it's just for a couple minutes, and then they just vanish, right? And you're just like, or something happens to them, or and you're just like, something happened. Like this
It doesn't feel right.
It's not supposed to be like this is a good character. Like they're not supposed to just disappear.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, we got to keep moving. It's like honestly, it feels like Game of Thrones feels right now.
Huh. Interesting.
Where it's just like, oh, we got to keep moving. No time to stop. And it's lame.
Did you ever hear the story about what happened with Xenogears?
No.
This is kind of relevant, but
The
I
first
guess
Xenogears?
the very first Xenogears on the PS1. It's a very interesting
Oh,
game.
maybe I did hear. Okay, but go ahead.
So from what I understand, and I don't know how true this is, but it makes sense if you ever play it.
I played it.
Yeah, you know how the last basically the second half or so is just a cutscene.
Yeah.
With battles, because they fucking ran out of money and
Yeah.
time, so they literally had to do that. Where they were like, dude, we can't make any more levels. Like, there's already we have no more polygons left.
Yeah.
However that works. So they just were like, well, we got a lot more story to tell. So it's all cutscenes and battles for hours and hours and hours. So anyway,
I kind of get it. That game got so long in the tooth.
Yeah, and then have you played any of his other stuff?
No.
It's just, he's crazy, man. Xenosaga 1, 2, and 3.
I remember buying that game because I'm like, sick. A Square mech RPG.
It has great music, too.
But, like, you don't get a gear in that game for, like, 50 hours or so.
No,
like
it's like 4 hours.
It's not 4. It was way longer.
No, because I never even play that much, and you get a gear pretty early on. You get a gear as soon as you get into the forest.
I'm trying to remember.
So it's probably like 5 or 6 hours.
I just remember there being a very long time.
Yeah.
I remember feeling like I've played this game forever,
which is not a good side,
and don't have a gear. Or maybe you get a gear. I don't know.
Or maybe you get a gear and lose it.
Maybe you get a gear and lose it. I just remember like not having like all the. I remember going into a battle very late, like long feeling into the game, and being like, "Oh, I got like all these like now I have like all these missiles and like you know what I mean? Like I'm a full on mech." And up until this point, I have not felt like maybe you have a gear that just fights like a regular fight. I
think that's maybe what it is.
I don't remember. I just remember being like, wow, like why is this happening now?
Yeah.
Like this would have been fun to do this whole time, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. And then he did the 3 PS2 versions, and then he went totally off the rails with Xenosaga on the Wii, and then the Wii U, and then the Switch recently. So anyway, it's an interesting. He's an interesting guy.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the newest one.
That's the one on the Switch.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean,
it's some anime bullshit for sure.
It is some anime bullshit for sure. The one thing about that game that like, there's 2 things in that game I hate the most. Okay. One is cutscene, like when you win a fight, but then you lose it in the cutscene.
Oh, I hate that.
Right, like you're murdering this dude, and then like. The cutscene starts and it's like enough, and the guy just like like just beats you right then. You're like, dude, I've been wrecking this dude. Like, how in the world is he just like enough, and you lose or whatever whatever.
Like, I was doing great.
Yeah, whatever anime shit he says, and then
fool,
yeah, and then it has these weird like skill checks built into it. It's like you're like in a dungeon or what their version of like a dungeon. And you get to like this thing, and it's like, all right, you need 7 points in flying and 8 points in jumping to do this. And you're like, I don't have any points in that. Like,
why didn't you tell me this?
Yeah, and it's like, how are we supposed to do this? And it's like,
I don't know, dude. Figure it out.
Better leave. You're just like, this can't be real. Like, how is this real? Or like you just stand there, like, and there's like a thing. And you're like, oh, this must be to like get to a treasure chest. And it's like, nope, that's the next thing in the game. It's like, well, I don't have any blades that have these skills. It's like,
well, whose fault is that?
Better go get some. You know, and you're like, what is happening? Like, what is going on? Like, it's the craziest thing.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I thought that game was actually pretty fun.
Yeah. How much did you play?
I beat it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I beat it.
Wow, interesting.
Actually, that's the game that destroyed my Nintendo Switch.
Oh, really?
For some reason, I was house sitting for a friend. I was dog sitting. And so I was just like, all right, I'm dog sitting. I'm not going to have access to all my stuff. I'm not going to have my computer to play PC games. I'm going to buy the Xenoblade game.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to play it, right? I'm here for like a week.
Yeah, that sounds fun, actually.
I'm just
lose yourself in a game.
Me and Xenogears, right? Let's do this. And that became more true than I ever imagined. Because for some reason, the moment I got to my friend's house, my Wi-Fi just would not work on my Switch.
Whoa.
I was like, what is going on? So I played through all the Xenogears. I finally got back home. My Wi-Fi wouldn't work at home. And I was just like, what is going on? Like, it just wouldn't find... I'd pull it up, and it just wouldn't find any Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And I contacted Nintendo, and I sent it in, and they had to replace the Wi-Fi chip.
So Xenogears destroyed your Wi-Fi.
Xenogears.
That's the story.
Wi-Fi, yeah.
Do you still have it?
Xenogears? Yeah.
Maybe I could give it a whirl sometime.
It might be download. It is download.
Oh.
You can borrow my Switch.
No, that's fine.
We can trade.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, that's fine.
Anyway.
That wouldn't bother if you wanted to, like,
yeah,
borrow my Switch or swap switches or whatever. I don't care. We could do that.
Interesting. Yeah. We could talk about that.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
But that was it. State of play. That was the whole state of play.
Yeah. So that there's nothing there exciting. The only thing that was, well, the Predator thing could be cool. No gameplay. Final Fantasy 7 looks whack.
Yeah, I think it just goes to show, like, their PS5's the next thing on their radar. I'm glad they didn't do E3. Because if this is the kind of stuff, right? If this is what they got going right now,
Yeah.
like, yeah, just make some videos.
Good call.
Like, you know what? Good call.
Do a live stream like everyone else.
Do a live stream. I mean, because honestly, like, it's not like Xbox is going to do anything exciting.
I'll see. I'm going to their press event.
I mean, they'll do something exciting, but it's not going to be anything that really moves the needle.
They're very good about like their last event at last E3. I went in and I'm not an Xbox guy, but I still was, open minded. I was excited to be there. It's fun. The energy's, very high and they put on a great show.
Yeah.
So I was watching it and I was really into it. I was enjoying it. I was like, this is so cool. Wow. Cheering and really into it. And I was really impressed. And then when I left, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
All of that looks like shit. What the hell was happening to me?
Yeah, like put it into words.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And you're just
Gears
like,
of War 5.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
like,
so it was a very interesting experience to be like super enthused. Like, man, Xbox is going to turn it around. I think 2019 is going to be their year.
well, Phil Spencer's great.
He was great. That was part of it. He's just good. But then, yeah, it was funny after I got out. I was like, wait a minute. They bamboozled me.
Yeah, Phil Spencer's going to tell you how Gears of War Pop is the next big thing. Yeah. And it's like,
man, that was weird.
Yeah. So, but, like this, they bought these studios, so they're going to announce the new games for all these studios.
Finally.
But they're not coming out soon.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's their problem. Is they're so far away from, like, actually putting titles down, and these studios aren't what they want. You know what I mean? Like, I'm looking up, like, what studios they acquired and that.
Did they get, like, Ninja Theory or someone?
They got Obsidian?
Oh.
So I think that's interesting.
That could be big.
But even that, like what is their
whole thing is they make sequels to other people's games.
Yeah.
Good ones, but buggy
good
ones.
Yeah. Why can't I find like a good list of their acquisitions last year? I keep finding articles about it, but it's like just an article. All right, here's a Kotaku article. It's not going to give me the list I'm looking for. They bought the studio that made We Happy Few.
That's a weird choice.
And I'm trying to remember what they're called. God, this is impossible to find. But I thought We Happy Few was terrible.
Yeah, it was not great.
I'm trying to find. Oh, Obsidian and In Exile was another studio they got.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and they made the Wasteland game.
Brian Fargo.
Yeah. And so it's just like, it's like what? I just don't know. Like these aren't like heavy lineage studios.
It's a very Xbox thing to do.
It's very Xbox. You know what I mean? Like
we're like, I guess that makes sense, but why? That's
like,
how I always feel about Xbox.
It's like we're gonna make the most middling games you've ever seen, and it's super it's just super bad, and even with Sony, like everyone's down on that what's that motorcycle Days Gone game,
yeah.
And like I get it, like it's not that. I think some places gave it like a 5, which I think is a bit much, but I think they released the early version that was not very functional, which I think is a mistake.
Yeah, that is a mistake.
I think
that's
their
always
PR
a mistake.
Kind of
it's like just wait.
Dropped the ball on that one to give codes out on that game when it definitely shouldn't have been in people's hands, because they're going to judge based on what they got.
Yeah, of course.
But I still think that game, and I keep repeating, is better than any Microsoft games. Like Forza is maybe the only.
Well, apparently Sea of Thieves has gotten pretty good.
I've heard actually it's gotten a lot better, but that's the thing too. Like it's too late for a game that launches like that.
Yeah, it's not like Sea of Thieves is going to have a huge uptick in sales all of a sudden.
No, and it's like
The
Xbox games are free, so it's like or they're $1 a month or $10, whatever they Game Pass costs. Like what? That's the thing. There's no reason to buy an Xbox game now.
Yeah,
because you just.
Also, you could just play on your computer.
Yeah, you just play on your computer, subscribe for a month, and be done with it.
Yeah, play every Xbox game you are interested in, all 2 of them, and then go back to Days Gone.
Yeah, go back to whatever you're playing. It's so weird. I will say this: they will say a lot of exciting things. Yeah. They'll talk about backwards compatibility. They'll talk about Game Pass, and probably I would assume they're gonna unleash some kind of Xbox Live Game Pass all-in-one bundle that's that's remarkably cheap, because or even like including it with live, like at $15 a month. You know what I mean?
That'd be cool.
I could see them doing something like that because they have to. The discless Xbox doesn't make sense.
No.
Like, people seem to pretend like Xbox is firing on cylinders and really killing it right now, and I just don't understand like how anyone thinks that. You know,
Well,
like
I don't know anyone who thinks that.
I hear
like even people who love their Xbox, which is it's a good piece of hardware, especially the One X. It's nice, but even they're not like, yeah, dude, I'm gonna go home tonight and play my Xbox.
I feel like there's a media narrative that Xbox is positioned to own the next gen by saying the right things, and or that PlayStation is somehow like dropping the ball, and I just don't see how that's even possible.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it just doesn't make any sense because there's so many things for PS5 we're already excited about.
Yeah,
you know, I'm gonna play. I want to say Days Gone.
Horizon.
I'm gonna play Horizon.
Yeah,
I'm gonna play
God of War.
God of War. I'm gonna play what's the baby one?
Baby one.
Yeah, the
Where he plays a baby?
my brain. It's been such a long day. I don't know how I'm forgetting everything today.
The baby one.
with Norman Reedus.
Oh.
Why can't I think of the name of that game?
Death Stranding.
Death Stranding. I kept thinking like Days Gone. It's Days Gone.
boy.
Just say Days Gone.
Hideo.
Yeah, Kojima's game.
Yeah. With the baby and Norman Reedus. Well, yeah, that is accurate. And the giant backpacks.
And the giant backpacks. Like, I'm gonna play that game, even if it's bad. I have to play that game.
Yeah.
It's like it's such a big part of the zeitgeist. You have to play that game. No one feels that way about Gears of War 5.
No, unfortunately.
You know what I mean?
It could be super awesome, and everyone's gonna be like, okay.
Yeah, it's fine. You know,
like I didn't even know there was a Gears of War 4.
yeah. No one liked it. That's why. Right? There's a pop vinyl Gears of War game, so that's
gonna sell some Xboxes.
Yeah. So you know, I'm excited to see their show because they put on a good show.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe they will do something very exciting.
I'll be honest. I'm excited to see Bethesda's show.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see EA's show.
Not because gonna have a show,
or they're gonna have their thing at their offsite though, aren't they?
Yeah, EA Play.
Yeah,
but they're not doing anything. They're not even having because normally we get to go to the press room. They're not even doing.
Not doing a press room there either. Stream. I figured they would. I guess a live.
And it was funny. They said in the email a little bit peek behind the curtain. They were like, "You can come. You can play video games that are already out. Like you can play Titanfall. You can play Battlefield 5." I'm like, dude,
you can play Anthem.
I can play this in my fucking house.
You can play Anthem there.
Yeah,
if that game's still live, if the server's still live.
I don't even think they probably aren't even gonna have Anthem there.
You know, they pushed everything back for Anthem now.
Yeah, because apparently their internet goes out all the time.
They broke the game again.
That sucks, man.
Yeah,
and then everyone's like, you know what? Fuck it, let's go to Dragon Age.
Yeah, yeah. And then they released that story saying that Anthem killed Dragon Age, like that they stopped.
It's like, how did this game that was so bad that it killed the next game?
Yeah. No, but like they stopped Dragon Age development to make Anthem. It was like bring in their people.
Yeah.
It's just. Well, I just want to hear what Bethesda has to say for themselves.
After 76?
Yeah, like, I just want to hear what some of these real stinkers, like, are they even going to acknowledge it? You know, like, I feel like they have to.
They will.
But
they'll say something about some content roadmap, and, you know, they'll be like, there's a lot of diehard fans.
But I could see them, like, walking past it, like, we know you guys love Fallout 76, and we have big things coming up.
So anyway, here's Doom Eternal.
Yeah, so yeah, here's Doom Eternal. Like, I could see them pretending like it's a success.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know, like, no one's gonna know it's not. You know what I mean? And
well, I wonder how did it sell? I'm sure it wasn't great, but I wonder.
I mean, I'm sure initially it sold pretty good, right? But I mean, come on, like,
you're not getting like Fallout 4 numbers.
No, and yeah, I definitely sold less than Fallout 4, and it was just the whole thing, like the whole story of that game is just such a sad, broken mess. It's just like you have to do damage control and stuff like that, you know.
I'll be curious to see how they do it.
I am too. All right, I said we didn't have a lot to go, but we still made it over an hour, so
good for us.
We're heroes. We did it again. All right. Well, we thank you guys all for listening. I'm going to cut it off there. Check us out on Twitter and Facebook, Tech Out Podcast. Check us out on YouTube. You're going to have to Google it. or YouTube search it.
That's owned by Google. Same thing.
Yeah, whatever. And make sure to watch our after show on YouTube when you do search us. We're going to do it right now, and it's going to be super spicy.
It's going to be a real humdinger, let me tell you.
A real humdinger, if I say so myself. Once again, thank you guys for listening. We really appreciate it. Tell a friend, and we love you guys.
Yeah, and drop us a line whenever you want.
Oh, yeah, takeoutpodcast@gmail. That's our email as well. Sorry. Yeah. Thanks for dropping
me. Yeah, that's why I'm here. That's why you bring me around.
That's why you make the big bucks.
All right, guys.
Thanks,
Take
guys.
care.
Bye.